Hi, my name is Jacqueline Soto Silveira, and this is my final project for 19th century American literature. My poem is answering to When I Heard the Learned Astronomer by Walt Whitman, and the title of my poem is The Way of My Mentor. When I look back and think of my mentor, I realize how meaningful in my life he was, guiding me to interpret the night sky and its stars. His diagrams and lessons were an armor I should wear. Though he knew the path his torch through, it was always my choice to follow through the shore. Took me a while to learn that his vision of life wasn't a whole truth, and I realized I had to rebuild my own core. In moments of confusion, I used to look up for my mentor, but growing up taught me to defend myself with my own claws. Life is about going and explore your own adventures. Using what you have learned before makes you a great inventor. I'm going to talk about how do I think that Walt Whitman's poems and mine are related. Basically, I think that one of the ideas that is portrayed in Whitman's poem is how we might feel overwhelmed sometimes about the ideas or the lessons or the instructions of a mentor, a teacher, family, parents, etc. I choose specifically the figure of a mentor because when we have a mentor, we are guided by this person, and sometimes this person's ideas or lessons guide us through a path, and sometimes we consider that lessons as Whitman's portrays before, like diagrams or things that are very captivating or even that private us for our own ideas. In my very personal experience, I used to take my mentor's words as complete truths or absolute truths, and I used to grow with that ideas as a rule or as something as I must fulfill or wear like an armor, as I mentioned in my poem. And then when I grew up, I realized that I had to rebuild my own ideas because they were stained or they were very unlocked through my mentor's ideas. And that doesn't mean like they were wrong or something because they had already made their paths, their own ways. And I discovered that life was about making your own ways of understanding life, ironically. So you cannot live through others' ways, or you cannot repeat others' patterns because then you're not living your own life. And that's basically how I interpret Whitman's poem. Like sometimes you just want to go up and look at the sky in your own way. And yes, you might be thought about how look through the sky, how to analyze the stars, etc. But the stars and its meaning is related to your own vision. And creating your own vision is what makes your life your own. And every experience on earth is very different. So you might use your mentor's words as guidance, maybe as inspiration, but you need to make your own in order to enjoy life by your way. And that's why I named my poem My Mentor's Way, because I used to live in that way until I make my own way of seeing the world. I actually enjoy very much the poem of Whitman's, and I feel very portrayed and I related a lot to it. And that's why I decided to respond to that poem. Hope you enjoy it. And that was all for my part. And this was my final project. Thank you.